Space Camp was a place that was just such a fundamental memory to me when I was a kid and helped to inspire me to continue on career in aerospace and be an astronaut.
There's power in memories. They remind us of how we made it to where we are today. Bob Hines' journey to becoming an astronaut was long and full of many defining moments. Growing up, Bob can recall moving often as part of an Army family. One of the constants in his life were his grandparents, who he visited every summer in Pennsylvania. When he was 12, they gifted him a flying lesson, though Bob's mom wasn't all too excited when she first found out.
They told me about it later. I was fit to be tied, and he wanted to do it over and over again. And every time he went to Grandma's, he got to go and get a lesson, this time with my permission.
When it came to space, Bob was equally as fascinated. After all, the space shuttle was essentially a big space plane. This interest led Bob to space camp as a child.
It was my first real experience getting to know people from outside my local area where I live, and just what a cool experience it was to get to be, part of that team and get to meet so many neat people. And by the end of the experience, how close we were all able to get.
One of the most impactful memories from his time at space camp was one of his simulated missions, where he got to fly the space shuttle.
That was like a dream come true. I mean, for someone who loves airplanes, to get and sit in a flight deck with a control stick and actually get to fly an orbiter was amazing. That was a very seminal moment for me and just really brought the space program so close and was very, very inspirational.
Even after attending space camp, space still seemed like a pipe dream to Bob. He became an aerospace engineer and eventually a pilot for the U.S. Air Force, where he got the call sign Farmer. Then, one day, Bob called his mom to tell her some big news.
The next thing I know, he tells me, you know what, I'm going to work for NASA. And I'm like, really? And he said, yeah, I'm going to be a research pilot for NASA, which he was doing for the Air Force. So I thought, well, that's nice. That's a nice step in the right direction, but we'll see how that goes.
After being a NASA research pilot for a few years, Bob had gotten to know many of the astronauts and decided it was time to throw his hat into the ring. He applied to be a NASA astronaut and was chosen.
There were 18,000 applicants, and he was one of 12. I couldn't believe it. And he always says to me, well, I think it's because I had that job and I got to meet the astronauts and everything. But I thought he had to have something else besides that, just knowing them.
Of course, with 41 active astronauts, it was never a guarantee that he would get a mission. Though that is exactly what happened when he was assigned as pilot of the SpaceX Crew 4 mission to the International Space Station, where he would be a flight engineer for Expeditions 67 and 68. He launched on April 27, 2022, finally going to space for real. Through his mission, Bob was reminded of his time at space camp as a child. Almost a cosmic coincidence, Bob's crewmate, Samantha Cristoforetti, was a fellow space camp alum.
I don't think either of us knew. It kind of came up through a kind of a coincidental conversation, but it was really, really fun and a cool tie for us to have.
However, the moment that most triggered Bob's memories was when he talked from space to a group of space camp trainees who were part of the SciVis program for visually impaired students.
Talk about completing that circle of attending space camp and then to get to be on orbit and actually talking with the students here at space camp. It's very inspirational for me and just a really cool opportunity.
Now back on Earth, Bob has found great joy regaling children and adults about his mission to space. He even returned to space camp for the first time since being a kid, where his memories came flooding back, reminding him of how surreal his whole journey has been.
Honestly, it's coming back here where it is most surreal. Remembering walking through the hallways and seeing pictures of astronauts and thinking of them as superheroes. To me, it almost seemed unattainable. And so now being on the other end of this and realizing that I'm just a regular person that gets to do these extraordinary things is really, really incredible. And I hope that that's something that kids and campers, when they come here, that they get to recognize too, is that we all come from just regular backgrounds and regular beginnings.
And it is an absolute privilege to be able to say to you, Farmer, congratulations on this award. I cannot think of a more worthy recipient of induction into the Space Camp Hall of Fame.
Today, we want to honor Farmer for his many accomplishments by inducting him into the Space Camp Hall of Fame. So we're really excited you guys are here.
Hey everybody! Well, this is really cool. This is one of the things that you never expect to happen. Who wears a jacket and a flight suit in Alabama in May? But I'm not taking it off. Man, really cool. Thank you to all of you. Thank you for being here and the honor of being inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's been something that I've watched and seen. Long before I was in the astronaut office, we had some astronauts that were inducted in the Hall of Fame, and I remember looking up to them. And it was really, really cool to eventually become colleagues with some of them and get to know them as our friends. And it was just really special, but also not the kind of thing that I ever would have seen myself on par with any of them and any of you either. So really, really honored to get to do it. And, one of the things I think we all acknowledge along the way and kind of talked about it at the tail end of that, of our talk, is that we don't get here on our own. And I think that's something I hope you guys all take away from this is it is really great to have goals, and you should absolutely put all your effort into shooting for your goals, but just realize that you can't do it on your own, that it's going to take mentors, it's going to take teachers, it's going to take your friends to support you along the way, and that they get to go on that journey with you. And it's been really special for me to be able to do these incredible things, but it's taking all the people that were behind me and bringing them along with me. I wish I had it. One of the really neat things we do prior to launch is called a wave across. Have you guys seen the Apollo 13 movie? There's a point there where Jim Lovell's wife shows up at night and she's waving across, and they talk briefly across the ditch. That is that ceremony, and we get to invite some of our family and friends to do that. And that was one of those really cool moments for me because it was a snapshot of people in my life that had never met each other, all different walks of life, all in one spot. And all those people were so important to helping me along the way and motivating me along the way. And to see them all in one place and get to share in that experience of being there for my first launch was really amazing. So just realize that there are people that love you and care for you, and they are helping you and supporting you to do whatever amazing things you guys have in front of you. So please, continue shooting for those goals, reaching for the stars. You have amazing things ahead of you, and just really glad to get to talk with you and share with you today. So thank you all for being here, and thank you all for the honor.